Devil's Lake, North Dakota. It is, without question, one of the best fishing destinations in North America.
Remember walleyes. I love it.
Wow.
The walleyes here always take center stage. But if you lock into one species, you'll be missing out.
Look at the size of that guy. That's a 2+.
We're on the hunt for Devil's Lake white bass right here, right now on Northland Outdoors.
Oh man, that's a monster. Oh.
Hi everybody, I'm Chad Koel, Northland Outdoors, back on one of my absolutely favorite fishing playgrounds in, well, the world really, Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Now don't say, oh, not another walleye show, because guess what? We're not gonna fish walleyes today. We're gonna talk about what an amazing multi-species fishery this is and chase probably one of my favorite fish to catch out there. And it doesn't get a lot of credit for what it is, but the white bass is awesome. And we're gonna talk all about whiteys today. So white bass aren't unlike any other predators. They're gonna be where their food source is. Now Devil's Lake's awesome, full of freshwater shrimp, and these fish just gorge on them, but they will school up in specific areas. We got a nice Dakota breeze out here today, which is good. I'm gonna look for wind-blown shorelines like this one, and especially if I can find rock, maybe some wood. It's tremendous. Devil's Lake, with all the flooding, has miles and miles of man-made riprap just like this. So we're gonna start real close to the access here, and we're gonna work some of this area, see if we can't find a school of feeding white bass. So with the Garmin or the force in anchor mode, that'll hold the bow into the wind, means I'll be casting out the back. I'm gonna start with something a little quicker, a little louder. This is a little shallow running crankbait. This is a Berkeley Fritz side. Came out a few years ago, just a dynamite little crankbait. Anything small, fast moving, great white bass bait. There we go. Look at that. First cast with the Fritz side. Banged it. And these fish are such fighters. I mean, he's tearing me up. And this is Devil's Lake, folks. We're talking about white bass. Look at this monster. Okay, that's a 2.5 pound white bass right there, and that is a big fish for a white bass. And talk about fight, unbelievable. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful fish, and so much fun. First cast. Here we go. So this breeze really likes to, what it does is it's pushing all this algae, freshwater shrimp, other bait fish up against these rocks. The white bass follow, and it's like a, it's like a banquet up there. Look at that, another cast, another fish. If you're really looking for fast action and fighting and just ferociousness, it's really hard to beat this white bass. This is why I love them so much. Get in here. And they just slam these baits like they're, well, like a train, man. Now that's about an average size, and you'll find that there are a ton of fish about this size here in Devil's Lake, and that's a big white bass, right? Go other places in the country and that would be considered a monster white bass. Here, that's an average white bass, okay? And they're, again, super ferocious, and contrary to some people's belief, they are actually very good eating fish. Beautiful.
In typical white bass fashion, our adventure is off to a super fast start. And also typical of these silver slabs, there doesn't appear to be an end in sight.
It's every cast, kids. Every cast.
Ray's Sport and Marine is your family-owned local headquarters for fishing and pontoon boats. From brands such as Lund, Crestliner, Viaggio, Bennington, and more. Stop in today to check out our great selection of 2025 models and get out on the water this summer. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you find the perfect boat. Ray's Sport and Marine, your pontoon and fishing boat headquarters. Now open in Alexandria.
We are out on a splendid Sunday morning. We're gonna go catch some fish.
You come to a place like Devil's Lake and you hear stories, you want to get out there and you want to find a monster.
Everything that you read about Devil's Lake, it's true.
Been guiding up here for almost 15 years, and it is absolutely the most astounding fishery that I've ever been to, and I've been all over the U.S.
I reeled in the biggest one of my life. That was a pretty special experience to me.
Plan your next adventure at devilslakend.com.
Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, when your passion is the water. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Discover your next adventure. Staybill Mount, rock solid mounting systems. And by Muscatel Burns Ford. Get your next Ford from Ward. We're on beautiful, massive Devil's Lake, chasing what has become one of my all-time favorite fish species, white bass. Like any fish, our first job is to find them. So a fast-moving search bait, like a Berkeley fritz side, lets me move quickly and cover water until I find the fish. Today, the fritz side located a big school of feeding white bass, located just off a windswept rocky spine of man-made riprap.
Pull and drag on the bait caster. Wow, another tanker. They get sideways in the water and they just got so much power. Oh, get up here. So, any of you who fish panfish a lot, and I do too, white bass is considered a panfish, right? And they are such great fighters because of that wide body. And they get that thing sideways in the water and they can apply so much force and really tow you around. This guy's got a little mark on him, got whacked somewhere along the line. Great fish. Super fun. Now, fast moving crankbait is great. What I don't like about the crankbaits though is dealing with the fish, especially really wild, aggressive fish like the white bass. You've seen how some of these have been flopping around when they come in, and it gets kind of dangerous. You got to be really careful. But guess what? These fish don't need to eat a fast moving bait all the time like this. I love jigs and plastics for white bass, so we're gonna make a quick switch. So we're gonna go to a light jig, 1/8 ounce. This is a Northland Mimic minnow. So a little swim bait, right? Clown color, again, loud, flashy. These fish, they're looking for something bright, something moving. So we'll work it about as aggressively. We're just gonna swim it and then pop it right away. First cast. And of course, when we go to the jig, we've got a little lighter tackle, spinning tackle, although this isn't light tackle. I would not go ultra light for this particular panfish. This is a beefed up 6.5 foot medium heavy spinning rod. It's walleye gear, and you need it because these guys absolutely tear you up. Oh, get in here. Ow. Nice. Now, since I don't have all those hooks down there, I can lip them like a regular bass guy. A little easier to get that hook out. Mimic minnow does its job. Wow, it's a little bigger one. Nice. 2 casts in a row. All the way around to the front of the boat. In here. Now, keep in mind with these fish, they are a little different than some. They are really spiny fish. This is also a common trait with panfish. Bluegills are like that, and so on. But these guys are really spiny and really, really thick spines. So we got to be careful handling these guys. They will poke you hard. And then these two down here as well are really spiny, even this back one. So you got to be careful, but no teeth. So you can lip them just fine. One of the best things about the white bass, in my opinion, is what a great fish it is to get people interested in fishing. Why? Because I've just made 4 casts in a row and got a fish every time. That's how you get young people or people who've never really fished before interested in the sport, is you give them action, right? Big action. And the white bass can do that. Shallow water, you don't need a boat to get out in the middle of a giant lake. Small boat, get out, get the kids out, and you can tie them up to some of these unbelievably hard fighting fish and you'll have them hooked for life, for sure. Just like that. He's pulling drag again. Over here. Again, not a giant. That's a smaller fish, but boy, just really whacked it. So we talked about how white bass are actually quite good table fare, and they really, really are. My buddy Johnny Candle said his dad used to call them poor man shrimp. Now poor man lobster is already taken by the eel pout, so poor man shrimp. And actually we're gonna show you how we make them that way, and they taste great. But like any other species, depends on the size of the fish. Bigger, the big giant bruisers are not as good to eat. The meat is softer, a little fishier. So a fish like this, smaller size, that is what we call a good eater. Okay, so if I was cleaning up white bass today, that would be one that would go in the box for sure. So the secret to white bass fishing, it's pretty complicated. Okay, I call it the 3 C's of white bass. Very, very difficult to master, okay? But I'm gonna go through it for you right now. 3 C's. Cast, crank, catch. See, now remember, it's a lot to keep track of. But in order to catch these beautiful beasts, you gotta be able to master the 3 C's, and I think you can do it. Cast, crank, and catch.
The Devil's Lake white bass are on the feed and the action is non-stop, but we're going to take it to a whole other level when Northland Outdoors returns.
Here he is, he's on it. There, he got it.
Muscatel Burns Ford is your Ford truck headquarters in Hawley. Be sure to check out our selection on-site or online. Ask about complimentary local pickup and delivery for your next oil change. We're newly expanded to serve you even faster. New or used for work or play, Muscatel Burns Ford on Highway 10 in Hawley. Hey, get your next Ford from Ward.
This segment of Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Devil's Lake, North Dakota. With something for everyone in every season. Discover your next adventure in Devil's Lake. The wonderful white bass of Devil's Lake are on the bite, and the action is incredible. We located this school with a Berkeley Fritz-side crankbait, then we switched to a Northland tackle mimic minnow. Now we're going to really up the excitement meter.
Oh! Yes. We found a new fun way to catch them. Another thing about these schooling really super aggressive fish like white bass is you can play with all sorts of different presentations to try to catch them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've never tried top water for white bass. And guess what? Works. Berkeley bullet pop. And he came right up and smashed it. So let's see if we can do it again. Here he is, he's on it. There, he got it. Oh, got this one followed, I think. Oh, good fish. Wow. Very nice big one. These fish are amazing. Ow. They are flaky. The bullet pops crushing them in the wind. Devil's Lake. Ooh. See ya. So the white bass hunt, we located them with the crankbait. We just pounded on them with the swim bait, the plastic. And now I'll move on to my absolute ultimate favorite way to catch any aggressive schooling fish like this, and that's on top. Again, right here. Slice, slice, slap. Get it. Oh, right there. Oh, and that's a brute too. Oh boy, look at that. Oh man, that's a monster. Oh, wow. Oh, so the moral of the story is this, folks. Devil's Lake is really an ultimate fishing destination. And when you come here, obviously you got to get your walleyes, but please don't pass on the bass. These white bass, I'm worn out. I'm out of breath. If you can't get excited about whiteys, boy, then you got to find another hobby. Awesome.
Fish the famous waters on Minnesota's Lake of the Woods, the walleye capital of the world. Choose from over 50 full-service resorts with options for charter fishing, guide service, and full meal plans, or plan a trip and relax in the vast wilderness scenery. From the Northwest Angle to the South Shore, Rainy River, and Baudette, the Midwest's #1 fishing destination. Walleye, sauger, northern pike, and more. Minnesota's Lake of the Woods, best fishing anywhere. Log on to lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Northland Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, when your passion is the water. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Discover your next adventure. Staybill Mount, rock solid mounting systems. And by Muscatel Burns Ford. Get your next Ford from Ward.
Welcome back to Northland Outdoors, everybody. Boy, what'd you think of that Devil's Lake white bass action? It's just incredible, and you know, the arms are still a little sore from all of those hook sets. Again, a phenomenal fishery up there, and just a great way to get people involved and excited. It's a great shore fishing activity, so get up there and get after those white bass. It's a blast. Plus, like I mentioned during the piece, white bass are actually delicious. They are a very good eating fish, especially when you keep those smaller ones for eating. I also mentioned how there are lots of people who call it poor man shrimp. So we're going to show you how we make poor man shrimp out of some white bass fillets. So you absolutely don't need much. This is very, very simple to do, right? We need a pot of boiling water, okay? Another bowl of ice water, an ice bath, and then some cocktail sauce, because how can you have shrimp without cocktail sauce? Obviously, you also need your white bass fillets, and we've got them right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my fillets, and I'm gonna cut them into chunks, like so.
chunk it up. They're about 1 inch by 1 inch, so nothing to it. Okay, got our chunked up pieces of filet. Now it's as simple as dropping them into the boiling water. Now, we don't want a really rapid boil, just a nice, and you can see this is just a nice modest boil. You don't need it to be just rolling furious, so just a slow rolling boil, okay? Take the slotted spoon, load it up with some filet chunks, and then we're just gonna lay those right in the boiling water, like so. Now this doesn't take long, about 30 seconds is all, so don't let them overcook. So our 30 seconds is up. Okay, we're gonna get them out of the boiling water straight into the ice water bath. We've gotta blanch them right away. So out come our fillets right into the ice bath. What this does is immediately stops the cooking. You don't want them to get mushy. And again, they don't have to be in the ice bath for very long, 30 seconds, a minute, not as critical there, right? All we're doing is shutting down that cooking process right away so they don't overcook, and then it'll firm them up really nice. All right, we've got them all cooled down nice. So now we're just gonna take our slotted spoon again, we don't need the ice cubes, and just a paper towel plate so that they can dry off a little. We've got them out. We're letting them rest and dry just a minute here on the paper towel. Couple of quick seasoning tips. Now, you can do them plain just like this. I'll add a little salt and pepper maybe on the end before we eat them. Another trick that I do a lot is I'll put some lemon juice in the water, in the ice water bath. Helps bring in some of that lemon flavor. And then almost always with this particular dish, I'll add some lemon pepper on the back end. And that just gives it that little extra spice I really like. And there you go. Nice, beautiful chunk of white meat. A little cocktail sauce, please. That's good. It's like having a shrimp cocktail. And I didn't have to go to the ocean. I just had to go to Devil's Lake and wear myself out on those beautiful white bass. And then have a delicious treat like this when we get home. So give it a try, super simple. Boil them, blanch them, dip them in some cocktail sauce. Hey, thanks for watching Northland Outdoors, everybody. We'll see you next time.